Hey, doofuses. How y'all doing? Oh, probably shouldn't call them doofuses, should I? If you actually watch this video, you're going to get all the answers to today's assignment. So, good job, you guys. And now it's 25 minutes of me trying to figure out how to make my document camera look the best. Spoiler alert, it ain't going to happen. But I'm going to try. Okay. It's going to, sometimes you just got to say good enough. Ow. Good enough. Come on. Put a man on the moon and we can't have good document camera technology. It's fine. What's his money? Ah, hey, that's not terrible.
It's paper that we says has meaning.
That's not terrible. It's not really the document camera, it's the software. It's the document camera software that's garbage. I should email Mr. Armstrong and be like, you have better software? Because this is garbage.
Just use Twitch.
Yeah, just download OBS on my school computer and set up a whole streaming broadcasting thing. Actually, that's pretty smart.
You got it.
Yeah. I don't think they did that. Okay, so today we're going to talk about different innovations and discoveries that happened mostly late 1800s, early 1900s. Kind of the stuff that we've already talked about before. This is really, really easy. This is a lot of common sense. We're going to drive a discussion through there. It's going to be great. So you have all of these inventions, and then you have their impact on their standard of living. So when we say standard of living, what do we mean?
How you live. Standard.
So let me give you an example. Which country do you think has the better standard of living? The United States or, let's say, Kenya? United States, right? We have access to better medical care, technology, just things that make life better, right? So, quality of life. That's a really good way of putting it. Quality of life. Although, I think there's a misconception about a lot of places in Africa, and they're not as rural as people think that they are. There's actually a lot of really rich people in Kenya. And Nigeria's got 47 princes, right? Well, got that email.
I think it's a bit more than 47.
Yeah, it's got to be more than that. I am a Nigerian prince. All right. So, first one, electric power / light. Give me some ways that would have impacted the standard of living in the United States.
Well,
we could see.
Huh?
We could see at night.
Okay. So what does that do?
Makes you be able to see at night.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have to burn so much gas.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to go to sleep early.
Oh, okay, so hold on. So you're saying it would be cleaner?
Yes.
Okay.
Cleaner?
Yeah.
Light
He's
makes
saying,
stuff clean?
huh?
So light makes stuff clean?
No, he's saying that you wouldn't have to burn as much gas, like kerosene and stuff like that. Okay, so you're saying you see at night, but what does that give you? What is that?
Vision. Not just that.
Gives you less potential fire too.
You can work later.
Oh, there you go, Mason. Okay, I'm gonna come back to you guys because you guys have got a good point, but I'm gonna screw you where I need to. Okay, so we call that where you, huh?
What else is safer? Oh, safer.
Safer, yeah. Sorry, my handwriting's atrocious. Cleaner, safer. Mason said you could work more. We call it improved production. So imagine that you have a factory, right, that makes shirts or whatever. If you don't have electricity and you're just running on little whatever, then when it gets dark, you gotta go home, right? But if you have electricity, then all of a sudden your factory can be working 24/7. You're gonna be spitting out way more product. Which means more pay, mean more profit. Yeah. You had people, like, you had families where somebody would work in the day and somebody would work at night, and, and switch off. I want to come back to what y'all are saying because you're in the right spot. So you're saying see at night, right?
I lost transportation.
So imagine your life without electricity. Could you live without electricity?
Yeah.
Yes.
You could open a can of beans with a hand crank can opener, right? But you could also open a can of beans with a electric can opener. So what does the electricity provide there?
Ease of use.
Yeah, convenience. Can you live in Texas in the summer without electricity?
Yeah.
Yeah, but is
It
it
would
better to
suck.
have AC?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So there's also that comfort level.
In fact, I'm not entirely sure that Texas would be inhabitable without.
I don't think it would.
You're absolutely right. And we talk about that a little bit later on in the year and about how because of things like air conditioning and stuff like that, it really paved the way for people to move south. And so you've got people moving to bigger cities like Houston and Dallas and stuff like that.
Aren't like
Yeah.
some areas of California and like Arizona inhabitable? Like
Yeah.
literally.
Death Valley, yeah. Like there's a reason it's called Death Valley because it gets so friggin' hot there. Yeah, it's terrible. Okay, and then so you have light bulbs, but electric power. Like I asked first period, like, what would happen if you didn't have electricity? And they were like, it would suck because nothing would work. So, how do I spread this question? So, what did the light bulb and electricity like pave the way for? Everything that's electrical, right? So we have so much, so many more machines, more technology. I can't write. We were talking about that first period about how there's that movie where like, we're one EMP pulse from like back to this time period. Because if an EMP pulse went off, it would fry all electrics everywhere.
Yeah.
They would cease to work. So we would know no electricity, no cell phone, no running water, no transportation.
But we'd be able to build
Wait, would
different things, right? Like we'd be able to create
We can make-
electricity just by like building new plants. Correct?
I mean, maybe eventually, but like none of the infrastructure would be there. So none of the factories would be there to, make stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like there would be no head start. We'd go back to like hammer and nails kind of time. We would have the technology already, so we would know. I think it would be probably faster. But I think that there would probably be a generation or two in there where all hell would break loose and it would be like anarchy. You know what I'm saying?
But the stove make water though.
We could have water, but it wouldn't be filtered and it wouldn't be running. You like the
But,
tap.
Like, if you get a pan and like if you have the stuff to make a fire, like always,
Yeah, but think about how many people don't have that readily available to them.
well, they can try to.
Think about like people in like New York City. Like they would be such a
That's
mess.
their own fault.
It would be like the toilet paper back in March, where people would just be rushing, like stealing from one another and stuff like that.
With battery?
Gone.
Yeah.
Hand crank would work.
Oh,
That's why you should have a hand crank flashlight in your emergency kit,
you
just
wouldn't
in
be
case.
able to roll down our window unless
You wouldn't be able to drive your
I
car.
think that's
Your car would be fried.
Yeah.
The gas station's pumps wouldn't work. Like nothing would work. So the planes would literally fall out of the sky. Yeah. But you know what's terrifying? You know what's terrifying about that is that could happen at any time, and that most of the world's major countries have the technology to fire like an EMP at like other countries. Like, forget the atom bomb. Just shut down everybody's electricity and like
Don't remind
move
people
everything.
that we're gonna go into another Cold War.
a literal Cold War. Okay. Just a little positivity for your Wednesday. A little positive thinking.
Said that one.
It's great. Makes you really appreciate things.
You also said that one.
So you're saying
Uh-oh.
as soon as that bomb goes off,
It's true.
like everything just go down?
Well, it's not a bomb.
Per se. But some bombs would have the same effect though.
They would.
Yeah. Some bombs would have the same effect. Great. Alright, yeah, like the atom bomb. Petroleum products, oil, kerosene. What did that do for us?
Well,
Cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Travel.
Well, oil is just a lubricant. Like, what is kerosene? Is it just a flammable thing?
Yeah, it's just a cleaner burning thing. Like the old lamps that people have that burn kerosene.
Oh,
So it's
yeah.
cleaner. You can have it in your house. It's not gonna like cause like a smoke ring or whatever.
Is that the thing that like the old people have that start the fire against electricity?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, my grandmother has a whole bunch of them. Like, and they're sometimes real pretty glass with like a globe on top, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, we have one of those.
They're real handy. I mean, it's all fun and games until the power goes off in the wintertime and you have no lights. I think people in like rural areas like us would fare better in an EMP situation
Oh
than
yeah.
people in the city.
We already enjoy it.
Yeah, we already we have Wood County electricity. We know what it's like to not have electricity.
Yes.
Like every time there's like even a medium-sized storm.
Storm, yeah. It's like, well, it's back to the 1800s for us.
We can't sleep without fans on.
That's right. Dang it. Okay, so cars, travel vehicles, which would lead to more what? If all of a sudden everybody wants a car,
Faster travel.
we already got that.
More accidents.
There's
Especially
like
with the
shops.
Yeah, so more jobs.
Business.
Yeah, you would have everything from refineries to mechanics to all kinds of stuff. And then maybe a negative impact of that,
Pollution.
pollution. Yeah. So the next one kind of goes along with that too, where you have transportation, but not just automobiles, air travel, and other things too. You got to think, for the first time in our history, really, people were traveling more than ever before.
We would just start walking again. Like that.
Yeah.
It'd be crazy. Like
Could
we
you
would just
build-
have
Well-
giant sidewalks.
Could you build like one of those old mules and put it up like a horse on it?
Yeah.
And you could travel.
Oh,
Yeah.
9
Yeah.
miles.
So you bring up a good point, Mason. So like before cars and mass transit and stuff like that, people just walked from places. They just walked from point A to point B. So now if you can, and they had to live close to where they worked because you walked there, right? Or you rode a horse there or whatever. So with transportation comes the ability to live where?
Bigger
Where you are?
cities.
You
But
Outside of cities.
you know what those are called? Not
wait,
urban,
no,
but
what's that?
Oh.
Suburban. area.
suburban, yeah. So for the first time, we have these areas called suburban areas, which are literally suburban, right outside the city. If you think about like a big city like Dallas, before you get to Dallas, you've got like Mesquite, even Terrell nowadays, Terrell, Mesquite. And the closer you get to the bigger city, you've got, kind of smaller cities. Those are the suburbs.
It's so weird going like big cities because you just see like there's no trees here.
Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah, it's all concrete. Yeah, it's crazy. With transportation, though, you have the ability for ideas to spread, news to spread. You think about it. If you're stuck in Mineola, Texas every day for the rest of your life and you never meet anybody else except for other people who are from Mineola, Texas, I mean, you're not going to be very innovative. You know what I'm saying? People aren't going to be very worldly, very educated. They're just going to be kind of stuck in their own mindset. But you start to talk to other people from different parts of the world or even the country, and you're able to, get a new perspective on things, something that you didn't think of before. Or maybe you meet somebody who knows a different way to get water out of the ground, It could be something as simple as that, like sharing technology and stuff like that.
Or we could just like get onions.
Get onions? Is what you just...
Like the movie Holes,
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The sweet onions.
And then mass transit. So imagine like a city like New York City, right? They've got taxis, they've got buses, they've got subways. Some cities have trains, like Dallas has trains, not choo-choo trains, but like trains that take you from like one part of the city to another part of the city. Not like the Amtrak. I'm talking about like within the city. Yeah, like if you didn't have a car, imagine a little train in town that could take you from Tractor Supply all the way to like Taco Bell. You know what I'm saying?
America's public transit is garbage.
Yeah, it is garbage, but it's better than what it, better than nothing. So having mass transit in a city, what does that give us?
Something.
If Dallas didn't have, or New York didn't have subways or trains or taxis or buses, yeah. So it helps for a better flow of people. It's faster, more time. Time is money, right? What's the advantages of mass transit versus everybody has their own vehicle?
Less jams.
Less pollution, less jams. You ever gone to Dallas and got on the HOV lane?
No. Yes.
High occupancy vehicle. Kind of lets you get in there and you can just go beep beep and get all around that traffic. Because they want you to carpool because it's better for traffic.
Oh yeah.
You can also save more jobs too because you got to have bus drivers and subway people and all that kind of stuff. All right, the next one, housing choices. So this could mean a lot of different things. This could mean steel buildings. What would that mean? Instead of having wooden buildings, steel buildings?
They're better.
Safer? Yeah. Being able to live in a 50-story building on the 50th floor.
Penthouse.
What is that called when you live on the top?
Penthouse.
The penthouse, yeah. What does that mean for the city?
More money, or like.
Just being more people for those sites.
Yeah, just urbanization, right? Just more people can move to the city. Yeah. And then vertical city. I can't talk anymore. Vertical city, steel frame construction. So New York City's an island, right?
Yeah.
And once you take over all that land, well, you haven't got any more, unless you're the people of where do they start building? What is that? The UAE or Dubai, around Dubai, where they're like actually building islands.
That's so cool.
Onto their, I'll show you it. Have I showed you that? Where they're building the islands? I'll show you later. Huh?
How many acres have like on the street?
I have no idea.
That's a lot.
But it's a lot. So that makes you think like land prices. Like if you have a plot of land in New York City, woo, you rich, oh my God.
I got a plot New York City.
Wouldn't that be amazing? What?
Can you explain why Dubai has been flexing on us for like 30 plus years?
Because they can. Because they have so much money.
Why do they have so much money?
It's like, look, we got all this
They got
oil.
rid of white people.
Yeah, like
Like, we could hold it from you at any time if we
they've
wanted.
got the tallest building in the
Yeah.
world.
Their cop cars are like Lamborghinis, aren't they?
Mhm.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
And the sport cars that come out of there are amazing.
Yeah.
Where is Dubai? Like where?
I'll show you when we get done. Yeah, it's really interesting. You got to see the islands that they make. So vertical city, steel frame construction. So if you can't build out, then what do you build?
Oh,
Yeah.
We're down.
I was about to say build in. I was like, wait a minute.
You could build down, but also you would need some kind of steel frame to do that as well, so that you didn't have collapses. So technically, I guess you could build underground.
Yeah, but you can only go so far.
But
down.
people don't want to live underground. They would rather live in tall buildings.
I don't know.
Well, I
Like
mean,
dark places.
I don't know.
There's some people, I'm sure.
Little mo rat
The
people.
moles, yeah.
Wait, why
That's,
don't-
that's seriously what I was thinking about, like rat people.
I'm
I,
sure
I
there's
just want to be a rat. Like, let's go live on the ground.
All these like vitamin D deficient people just wandering around down there with terrible eyesight. You would also save space.
Well, and like,
He's got like multiple.
Do you know that there are get this, y'all, and this tells you how country I am and how untraveled I am. There are places where there are 2-story like Walmarts and Targets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where you
Well, I
put your
mean-
buggy on like an escalator to go up to the next floor. Like it has a little buggy escalator. So you stick your little buggy on it and then it goes up and you just go up the escalator with it. And then you get to the thing and you get your buggy off and you just shop some more.
That's so
Heck
Is
no.
that not wild?
Where?
I in big cities.
big, like just all of them.
No, I don't know. I know there's one in LA. I saw like
yeah,
a
but
video
they
of
have
that.
like a whole lot of weird crap in LA. Like
Isn't that crazy? People like were like instead of like having a Walmart with a parking lot, the parking lot is on top of the Walmart, like in a parking garage and stuff. That's nuts to me.
parking garages are
let's go.
They're scary.
Oh, yeah, they're
Let's
good.
go.
Yeah.
I'd be the one that accidentally hit the brake, gas instead of the brake.
Jason bag of cutting down trees.
That would. You're right.
just
And that would be like better for like.
It would be
habitats.
better, and it would be cooler and warmer for people, so we would use less. We would have less pollution. So you're right, Colton. We all should be mole rat people. So if you have this is my crappy drawing of a suspension bridge, where it's not just like a bridge. It's got like the suspension-y stuff, the wiry stuff,
like the golden.
like the Golden Gate Bridge, right?
It looks like a.
You're not gonna be able just to build like a regular bridge across that, but a suspension bridge, you're able to build bigger bridges, a little bit longer bridges, and they are safer and they are stronger and they are better. So you can't get onto an island like New York City without a bridge or a boat. So what does that do, having bridges?
I just realized, like,
That looks like a smile with a couple teeth missing out of it.
It's a
yeah,
bridge.
those things, like they're
It's
just
those
like
little
steel rods, and
Yep.
then you hang the brick.
Yep.
That's so
It's crazy, isn't it?
like that could break.
Yeah. But it's actually the way that it's like science,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
The way it's done is stronger and
Actually,
sturdier than
construction.
just a bridge. So what does that mean? Like, what are you able to do because you have these bridges?
You can
Also,
get
don't
it to
put
a
so much
spot.
concrete.
Huh?
You go across. Like,
Yeah. So what
you
does
go
that?
river or something.
What does that mean for like shipping stuff?
That's just
Oh,
big.
they can go under.
You could, yeah, but like just like shipping stuff on trucks and things like that.
It's
It's a lot
cheaper
faster and
and
cheaper.
faster.
Would
They
that
have
like
to go
lessen
around
the
or
chances
something
of
on
like
it.
Or, like,
more
like-
less population? Because like.
Anybody know anybody who lives in Hawaii?
Oh, Keone.
Did they ever say anything about how much stuff costs in Hawaii?
No.
Do you know anything about how much stuff costs in Hawaii?
Isn't
Is
that
it a
like
lot?
super expensive?
It's yeah, it's super expensive. And why? Because
Because
Everything
they have to be
by boat.
shipped, everything by boat. Yeah. So if there was a bridge, it'd actually be cheaper.
Wait, weren't they
I
like
imagine the land bridge is
positioning a bridge or something?
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
That would be It's really long.
I think
Hold
it's
on, let's get
memorable.
through this. Telephone, telegraph. What does that give us that we didn't have before? Can
Communication across long distances.
you imagine being able to warn the next town of a tornado that's coming?
Hey,
We don't even have to
do you
do it
see
for
that?
Hey,
us.
somebody ring up Great Saline. That tornado's traveling east.
Hey,
Wait,
you see
Wes,
that,
wait,
that
no, we
huge
call-
massive wind coming towards you? Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you should run.
Telephony.
So news, ideas, communication. You could warn a nearby town that hey, there's a politician coming to visit y'all. Run and hide.
I know what's
On
wrong.
the bridges one, would
Yeah.
like it lessen the chances of competition.
Because the boats have a bigger, like, gas than cars do.
Are you saying like it would save pollution?
It would decrease it.
Decrease pollution? Yeah, you're not wrong. Okay.
Wait, is it back?
On the back, this is super easy. It says read each item and decide whether it describes a 1865 home, a 1900 home, or both. So electric lights,
Not too.
1900.
What are we talking about?
Indoor plumbing.
1900.
Yeah. My great grandparents, they just added a bathroom onto their back porch. Or just like closed it in. Like they didn't have their house wasn't built with a
No.
bathroom, you know? They had to go outside onto the porch to go to the bathroom.
The 1860.
Hand pump, 1865, yeah. Housekeeping work is added by a hand powered carpet sweeper.
That's fancy. That's some fancy.
Hand powered carpet sweeper. We used to have one of those when I was a kid. They didn't really have a lot of carpet back in 1865 either.
Wow. That's one must be
Attic,
bad.
2 floors, and basement.
Oh.
Probably the basement would have served a greater purpose back then, though, because it would have acted like a root cellar and kept their food cold. All right, bye virtual people.